right, happy Friday afternoon, everybody. Driving home from work. Been a long day, but it's Friday and it's time for the weekend. So I talked to Mel today, and I didn't realize I did not post anything about overhead press as it relates to squat, bench, and deadlift. What I'll preface this all by saying is we used to do a lot of overhead pressing early on in my career, but it was kind of a different time. Everybody used equipment. We all had bench shirts to some degree, and so we did it quite extensively. And as my training increased and my work capacity increased, I continued doing it. What changed was the bench shirt changed, the materials changed, the cuts became more aggressive, and then I was introduced to multiply, and I'm sorry for this sun thing, and we really got away from overhead pressing because of all the work we did in the shirt, partial movement, speed work, and all those things, and they were all very valuable. And then I was introduced to the decline press system by Bob Schaefer, and I would do overhead only occasionally. Now, when I did strongman and when I was doing Olympic weightlifting, and I would use the overhead press quite a bit. But as it pertains to powerlifting, what has changed, the sport has changed so dramatically, is now you have a lot of people that are lifting raw, and a lot of the meets that, competing at IPF Worlds, Masters Worlds, that's equipped, that's single ply. So the game has changed again, and there's definitely some benefit, especially for the raw lifters. Now, one of the things that I do, and a lot of other people do, is kind of waive the intensities. It's not one of those things where, even though it's a big movement, a pressing movement, I don't normally treat it like I would a bench press or even a decline press for that matter. I use it as an assistance movement or an extra session. But that's another conversation, a long conversation. What we have found, like using Jennifer Milliken that trains at our gym, she doesn't stay on it too long, because what happens is just the wear and tear, and it starts bothering her, and becomes a negative. So you add it, for a block, maybe even 2 blocks, and then you pull it away for a block or 2. It all depends on the lifter and the ability to recuperate from the volume. So is there a benefit to overhead press to bench press? Yes, there is. And does that mean everybody needs to go grab a barbell and start doing presses? No. There is some technique involved, but again, that's another conversation, a different video. If you're currently doing them, and you're seeing progress, then by all means. And again, it really, the big deal is your ability to recuperate from that type of work if you're doing, if you're bench pressing, and what your secondary press workout may be. I don't currently do them because I'm benching 3 times a week, and I'm not suggesting that other people do that. I've been doing this for a very, very long time, and I have found ways to work through not only being older, but the amount of volume that we're doing. So don't run out and immediately start benching 3 times a week. High frequency training has its place, but again, that would be another conversation and a much longer video. So to answer the question though, yes, overhead pressing can help the bench press in powerlifting, especially for you raw lifters. So I don't prescribe or doing anything behind the neck as far as like a seated behind the neck press. That used to be something in the old days that they did a lot, but behind the neck stuff is really tough. There is some like behind the neck power jerks that you do in Olympic weightlifting, but that's a different ball game, and the stresses and the shear pressure don't come into play like a behind the neck press does. So before everybody runs out and starts looking at those things, keep that in mind. But again, the goal for these videos always is to hopefully not only inform, and I don't ever want to come across like I know everything. I've done this for a very, very long time. I've been fortunate enough to be pretty successful, you know, at several strength sports, but it doesn't make me a know-it-all. I'm like you. I'm always learning. I'm always reading. Owning this gym and coaching so many different people and working with other coaches, you know, I'm always learning. I'm always seeing, you know, different tendencies from different athletes, and sometimes, you know, none of us are, you know, recreating the wheel, you know, but I definitely learn from other coaches that I work with, you know, just approaches and things like that. So, you know, always ask questions, you know, and if I don't have the answer, I bet I know somebody that does. So anyway, hope you enjoy these videos, and everybody had a great and safe weekend.